She is a member of the Dallas Wings of the WNBA, and she is a member of the Team USA 3-on-3 women's basketball team that will compete in the Olympics in Tokyo. Can't wait to see that. We welcome Allisha Gray onto Hoopsology. How's it going, Allisha?
It's going good. How are y'all?
Good. The first question we like to ask our guests is, what is either your first basketball memory or your favorite basketball memory growing up?
I'll say my favorite basketball memory is, of course, winning the national championship when I was at South Carolina and winning Rookie of the Year, my rookie in the league. So those are two are up there.
And I guess what was that like? I mean, we're mere mortals, right? Matt and I maybe play some pickup ball here or there, or play 2K. So I mean, in terms of being a professional athlete, we will never know what's that like. So can you shed some light, like the feelings you felt in either one of those two experiences? What was that like? Because it had to be incredible. All that hard work, or all that sacrifice, it paid off in those two accomplishments.
I mean, it's joy, just like you said, all the sacrifices that you make as an athlete, deciding on, oh, do I go hang out with friends or do I go to the gym? I mean, it just shows like the sacrifices athletes we make. But I mean, it was great. I mean, I was excited to achieve both of those accolades in my career.
And Allisha, I just want to ask you, this season for you it's probably been unlike any other season. I just want to get your insight. What has it been like, competing, playing for the Dallas Wings, while also preparing for the Olympics? Has that taken more of a physical toll, or have you been able to balance both, just keep that balance correct?
I mean, it's definitely been a lot. I mean, but for me, whatever season that I'm in at the time, I focus on it. So in the WA season, I'm all WNBA, and then nowadays transferring over to Olympics, my focus is all 3x3. So just whatever moment that I'm in, that's where my focus is.
Awesome. And how are they accounting for training for the Olympics? Is it taking time away from the WNBA specifically for a few weeks, or are you managing both of those at the same time?
Well, right now, the whole league, we're on All-Star and Olympic break. So during this time, no teams are playing games. So they block out the WNBA schedule. It's like on pause for Olympics. So nobody's like missing games or anything.
Awesome. I wanted to ask, there have been some monumental things going on in the WNBA, specifically the past two seasons. How, from the player side of things, how has your perception of the league changed, if at all, since entering the league in 2017? Have you noticed any changes in maybe like notoriety of the league or any things like that?
I say notoriety of the league is definitely going up. I mean, if you look game to game, when the TV ratings come out, our viewership has definitely gone up a lot. So, I mean, my biggest thing, people just got to give the WNBA a chance. Because, I've had conversations with several people that have came to a WNBA game and watched on TV, and they enjoyed it a lot. So, I think like our viewership is definitely going up each year.
And how has it changed for you coming from a very successful college career, of course, and transitioning into the WNBA? What is that like to, be able to focus on a professional career? How did things change once you entered the league?
I would say in the league is an easier balance. I mean, basketball is literally my job. I mean, in college, you had study hall classes, practice, like get in late from night, 8 a.m. classes. So now with being in WNBA, I really can like focus in and work on my craft and be just an athlete. So I say on the WNBA side, it's a lot easier to manage.
Awesome. And I know reading about your career, you've also spent time playing in Israel. And how does that compare, playing in the Israeli league compared to, of course, the WNBA?
It's different. I mean, with the rules and just the style of play. I mean, NBA basketball is basketball, but I mean, it was definitely a little different for me.
Is it culture shock going overseas? I mean, very very different over in Israel than here in the U.S.
For me personally, it was. I mean, just like having like find food and adjust to the culture of what they do over here compared to the U.S. So, I mean, for me, I was culturally shocked, but I was able to adjust over time. But it was definitely something new to me.
Awesome.
Alicia, I want to ask you about how you got involved with the 3-on-3 team and how that came about with your involvement there. Because I find that with the big three with Ice Cube and seeing highlights of your team, I think it's an untapped market because I think a lot of Matt and I just playing pickup over the years. Usually it's a 3-on-3 format. So can you kind of elaborate on really what your involvement is and where do you see kind of the future of this? Do you see this going kind of past the Olympics in terms of maybe a possible like 3-on-3 league maybe being created, men's and women's? You think?
I mean, right now, I didn't know like 3x3 was such a big sport until I actually like got involved into 3x3. I just know I was asked by Kara Callan after a 5v5 when I was with that team. She asked would I be interested in playing on the 3x3 team and being able to go Olympic qualifying tournament and a chance to compete at Olympics. And I did not hesitate because I mean, who gives up a chance of going to Olympics? So that's how I got involved into the 3x3 world. But I didn't know like it's like tournaments year round. Like it's like legit like 3x3 teams. Like I didn't know how big of an event in sport it was until I actually got involved in 3x3.
And what do you think is the biggest adjustment you had to make compared to playing on your WNBA team?
Just like the cardio and the physicality of the game. Like in 3x3, you can't go up soft and expect to get foul calls. And then the cardio is like even though it's just like a 10-minute game. I mean, it's just like a consistent game. You only get the sub on dead ball, so I mean, it's just very high intense. So I'll say the cardio and the physicality was definitely like an adjustment.
Now, I'm headed over to the Olympics. It's going to be a little bit different just because of the state of the world and the fact that the way the Olympic Games are, there not going to be any fans there. So, is that going to be an adjustment for you, or do you just not pay attention to fans anyway when you're out there on the court?
I mean, last year we played in the Wnba bubble and
That's
we
right.
didn't have fans. So I mean, it wasn't a hard adjustment. So I mean, it'll be just like that. So it'll be a pretty easy adjustment.
And headed over there just for the Olympics, the opening ceremonies is such a big deal. Can you just kind of, I guess, walk us through what you're looking forward to being over there? And actually, I want to ask you, since there's restrictions on fans attending the events, does that include you all too? Like, does that mean, hey, you can't go and cheer on your other teammates in like track and field or the men's basketball team or gymnastics or anything you're interested in? Are you pretty much confined to just competing and just stay in your room? How's that going to work?
Well, I mean, for what I know right now, I mean, for the most part, I mean, we're just gonna do our event and then like we fly out and go home because
Oh,
of the COVID situation. So I mean, that's all I really know right now. I mean,
okay.
I don't know a lot of like info and stuff, but I know like we do get to do the open ceremony. So I'm just gonna enjoy that moment and soak in everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. The opening ceremonies it's awesome just to watch on TV. I can't imagine just taking part of that. That's just such a spectacle. So that's cool that you'll be able to participate in that. I'm shifting gears back to the WNBA. Like you mentioned, you were in just a WNBA bubble. What has it been like, this season having fans back? Just a reverse of my previous question. Was that something you were ultimately looking forward to? Did you actually enjoy not having fans back? Not in terms of like the actual fans, but just maybe the atmosphere was more like an intimate, more of just like a pickup environment. What was it like just having just the fans back this season?
I mean, my biggest thing, I was happy that my family and friends could come to the game because I love when they're able to come to games and see me play in person. But yeah, I mean, the fans are what drives the game, especially when playing at home. Like the momentum, like once the fans get going, like the momentum of the game can change. So I'm very happy that the fans are able to do that. But I was very excited about my family and friends being able to come see me play.
Was it weird just having fans back? Was that any kind of adjustment for you, just because that bubble was just so concentrated that entire time, just with really limited to no fans there? Was that any type of kind of like a shock? Hey, there's like people here, everything's kind of back to normal. Was that any kind of a thing for you, or just like, we're just back to business as normal before the pandemic hit?
Back to business. I love playing in front of big crowds. I mean, it's fun. So it was just a regular old day for me.
And Alicia, just one more question. I'll pass it over to Matt. Um, what has it been like in particular this season? It's the anniversary of the WNBA, 25 years. Do you have any like memories of just watching the league maybe when you were little, like anything that stands out in terms of just yourself watching the league? And now, I mean, with all your accomplishments, you're a role model for other aspiring players. Kind of what's that dynamic like as well?
Well, I really like when I was younger and growing up, like I really ain't really see like games, but like as I got older, the LA Sparks, Minnesota Lynx finals, those were very fun to watch. But I know I always had a dream. I mean, I was aware of the WNBA. I knew what the WNBA was. Even growing up, me being from Georgia, I went to Atlanta Dreams basketball games. So I mean, it's just great. I mean, just see how the league has grown each year, which it has. I mean, it's just great, and I'm happy in the direction that the league is going.
Awesome. I wanted to go back regarding the bubble. I had a few questions about that. Justin and I have been fortunate to interview some media folks who had been inside the bubble and the Wubble, as they called it. And I was curious. I know, of course, you mentioned how much you enjoy playing in front of the fans, and that makes sense. That always turns up the excitement. Were there any like kind of odd positives about the bubble that maybe you didn't expect? I mean, as someone who's a professional athlete, wanting to focus on games, was there anything about the bubble that was kind of an unexpected positive, maybe?
I got to see my friends that were on other teams. I got to see them a lot, so I'll say that was a positive. Seeing my friends.
Right on, right on. In terms of like focus and game preparation, things like that, was anything different or easier in the bubble compared to now?
uh, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, I guess the easiest part is, I mean, the gym was like literally like right on the campus, so it was easier transport. But I mean, we basically like prepared for games the exact same way.
Gotcha. Cool. Um, And the other thing I wanted to ask, there was of course a lot of emotional stuff that went down in 2020. We don't have to talk about all that, but being in an environment, like the bubble where you're around less people, you're away from family and friends for some time, and I'd imagine that can be kind of hard in a team situation. Also, could be something that was really binding. I mean, you mentioned enjoying time with your friends in the league. Did you find it was something that um, changed the dynamics of your team in any way?
Uh, I want to say it kind of. I'll say the whole experience kind of felt like being in college again. Really,
Mm,
like you see your teammates literally every day. I mean, granted, we really like couldn't do nothing because I mean we're in a bubble, but the fact like you be able to build that bond and it's almost where you really get to know like your teammates because you literally around them 24/7. Like you get to see them like every day, everywhere. So I mean, I'll just say like you're able to build like a stronger bond and get to know your teammates a lot better than how it is. Like you just go to practice, you may not talk, and then I see you at practice the next day. So I mean, it was able to build like a stronger bond.
awesome. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you about was your Twitch streaming. How often are you doing that, and what games are you playing on that?
Uh, I mainly play Warzone. I play a lot of Warzone, but I'm more of a Rebirth Resurgence person. Like that big map, like I play it from time to time, but I don't really play the big map. I'm more of a Rebirth person. But yeah, I stream as much as I can. Like I stream a whole bunch during the off season. And then when I'm in season, like days, like when I, of course, when I don't have games where I'm not traveling, I hop on and play on Twitch.
Awesome. What is that like with regards to connecting with fans? Is there like a different dynamic when people are tuning into your Twitch streams? Do you feel like it kind of builds that relationship with the fans doing that?
I guess people can see me like in a different light other than being on the basketball court, because like as a professional athlete, people tend to judge you how you are on the court. They just put that with how you are on the court, but what they don't realize is like on the court is business. Off the court, like for example, like on the court, people say I don't smile a lot, like I'm stone faced. But when I'm on Twitch, like I'm laughing, goofy, just like real chill. So it just gives people to see me in like another light, not on the basketball court.
Awesome.
While on the video game subject, do you have like any favorite video games growing up? Was it always kind of the first-person shooters that you've been into, or do you kind of span the gamut in terms of what games you've been into, just growing up, or things that your all-time favorite video games, I guess?
Well, growing up, I played. Well, I still do, but not as much. But I played a lot of NBA 2K.
Okay.
I played Madden. I played. I even played MLB games. Played FIFA. When Fight Night was popular.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Definitely.
WWE wrestling. Like I play like. My catalog is like I play like a whole bunch of like variety of games. And I wish they would bring like some of those games back, because I mean it was just like so much fun. Grand Theft Auto. So like my catalog is like big.
So what was it like when the NBA 2K, when they introduced the WNBA, and all of a sudden like you're in the game? What is that like? Was that weird, like playing as yourself, or did you think it was awesome, like having your character in there?
No, it was awesome. Me being like a big video gamer, and like 2K, like you actually like look like yourself. So like it was pretty cool, and I do play with myself, and I'm like this is cool. I never imagined myself like being in like an official like video game. So I mean, I was very excited.
And what do you think about the gameplay? Because I've checked it out, and it's like they did a really good job representing the WNBA side of things, just in terms of how the game moves. But you're actually in the league. What did you think in terms of how accurate it was, true to life, compared to like the men's side of things in 2K? Was it pretty accurate? Were you pretty impressed with it, or do you think there should be improvements made with that?
I mean, they should fix my jump shot, because I don't shoot like that. Like it's when I can't time my own jump shot on 2K. But I mean, other than that, as far as like the graphics, like the accessories that people wear, and like the facial, like to be able to do like an actual like face scan. I mean, it just showed like they really like focused in and made the WNBA part of the game like just as important. So I mean, that was very cool.
Is there anything you think that should be in the game next year featuring just the women's game? So maybe like international teams that they're not part of the WNBA, or maybe just the 3x3, maybe introducing some kind of component into 2K. Anything ideas you think you have for future games?
I'll say like like on how on the men's side, like the neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Like on the WNBA side, it's like you gotta like kind of sync to be able to play in neighborhoods. So I really like haven't like got to play that. So I wish it would be like a WNBA like neighborhood side, like how you have like the men's like neighborhood. I think that would be very cool.
That would. Well, Allisha, thank you very much. I know you're extremely busy. Thanks for taking some time out to chat with us. Please plug where we can find you on social media. Please plug your Twitch stream and anything else you want our listeners and viewers to know about.
All right, well, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Greatness15, GRAYTNESS15, and also my Twitch is also Greatness15, GRAYTNESS15.
Thank you very much, Allisha. Good luck in Tokyo. I know you guys are going to kill it, and of course, good luck as well with your season with the Dallas Wings. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thanks for joining us on the show again.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks, Allisha. Go Wings.